Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Shojodoji deck profile for post-Evenfall Onslaught. With the release of the last couple booster sets, we got more support for the entire Glitter storyline, Shojodoji included being one of the decks for the Dragon Empire Nation. For the Glitter series, the deck focuses on being able to bind some of your own stealth cards, setting it up so then you can either place cards into your soul, gaining additional card effects for those cards placed into your soul, or even for being able to call out units from your bind zone using your main go-to grade 3 Vanguard, Peak Personage, Stealth Rogue, Shojodoji, and as I said, being able to take away from your opponent's bind cards also. We got some new support, and it's almost been a year since the last update to this deck, so I figured an update was definitely due, and big thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow his deck for the deck profile. So let's go ahead and get started. So for the ride deck, our starter is Can't Quick Sake Stealth Rogue Shojodoji. When rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Sakura Romance Stealth Rogue Shojodoji. When placed on Vanguard, you check the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 normal units with stealth in their card name from among them, reveal them, put them into the reveal cards into the soul, bind the remaining revealed cards, and shuffle your deck. So you choose one, it goes into the soul, the other gets bound, and when this card's in the bind zone, if you have a grade 1 or greater Vanguard with stealth in its card name, you can soul blast one to call this card to rear guard, with our grade 2 being World Shaper Stealth Rogue Shojodoji. When placed on Vanguard, you check top 5 of your deck, choose 2 normal units with stealth from among them, reveal them, put one of them into your soul, and call the remaining reveal cards to rear guard. So instead of the bind zone, you have a option to call the other rear guard, having the same option with this card to call to rear from the bind zone, with our grade 3 being Peak Personage Stealth Rogue Shojodoji, along with the copy in the ride deck. We're running 3 additional copies in the main deck as well. On the Vanguard circle, once per turn, you can bind 2 cards with stealth in their card name. From your soul, choose 2 of your opponent's rear guards, bind all the cards on the chosen rear guards, and your opponent puts those cards into their hand at the end of the turn. And on the Vanguard circle, when this unit attacks the Vanguard, counterblast 1, put 2 rear guards into the soul, choose a card with stealth in its card name from your bind zone, call it to rear, and if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, that called unit gets plus 10,000, helping with your multiple attacks, but also depending on the bound cards. You have a lot to work with on what card you may have called for the specific ability, with some of our grade 3 options being 4 copies of Stealth Dragon Unprecedented. When this unit is placed on rear guard by a card's ability, if you have a Vanguard with Tamiyura or Shojodoji in its card name, Soul Blast 1, draw a card, and on the rear guard, if 2 or more of your cards are put into your soul this turn, this unit gets plus 10,000. So along with the plus 10 that it could potentially get from Shojodoji, you have this card's own ability, having a 33,000 attack point powered unit on the field with an additional draw power just by placing it with your card's ability, which you'll do with your Shojodoji Vanguard. We're also running the 2 copies of the grade 3 Stealth Dragon Dual Wielder. On rearguard, when this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Shojodoji in its card name, you can counterblast 1 and bind 1 other rearguard. Choose a face-up card from your opponent's bind zone, put it on the bottom of their deck. If you do not put a card, choose a unit card from your bind zone with stealth in its card name and a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and you may put it into your hand. So more add back power with this grade 3, being able to also take out some of the cards in your opponent's bind zone with this one. More of a specific card to use for a certain situation. That's why we're only running the 2 copies. But for our grade 2s, from set 11, 4 copies of the new Stealth Fiend Izasao. When this unit is placed on rear, if you have a Vanguard with Shojodoji in its card name, counterblast 1, look at the top 5 of your deck, choose up to 1 normal unit with stealth in its card name from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So search power, and on when this unit is put from rear guard into the soul during your turn, choose one of your opponent's face-up cards in the bind zone, put it on the bottom of the deck, and choose one of your Vanguards and it gets plus 5,000. So helping with the option of Shojodoji just when it attacks, to place this card as your rear guard into the soul will give you that additional option to take one of your opponent's bound cards and put it on the bottom of the deck while still fueling the Shojodoji engine for you to be able to call one of your own bound cards to the field. And then also the 4 copies of Stealth Dragon Sukodoya Dachi. When this card is put from the soul into soul from the deck or rear guard during your turn, you bind this card to soul charge 1. So building up more soul power, but also from the bind zone, when 2 or more of your rear guards are put into the soul at the same time, you can counterblast 1 and call this card to an open rear guard, making up for one of the open circles, while your other one will be with the card that Shojodoji calls out. A very, very good promo, just being able to have that option to call out a unit onto the field as well, with the last of the grade 2s being the 2 copies of Stealth Dragon Dragon Jakumetsu arcs. When placed on rear from the bind zone, it gets plus 5,000 to end of turn. And when this unit attacks on rear guard, Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your opponent's bind zone and put it on the bottom of their deck. So just another option for the Soul Blast power, which you have a lot of cards that can rely on the Soul Charge power to begin with in the deck. So having that Soul buildup helps to then utilize cards like this, or even our Grade 3 Unprecedented for its draw power. And moving on now to the grade 1s. I run 4 copies of Stealth Fiend Forktail. When placed on rear, you may look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 normal unit with Stealth in its card name, or glitter for among them, put it into your soul, and shuffle your deck. So you're definitely going to go just for the option of the Stealth unit for the card you may want to add, having plenty of options to search out for the particular one we may want, and then also giving you the Soul Charge option when you just place cards like Shojodoji into the soul using this card as well. And then also the 3 copies of Stealth Rogue Path of Change, Kage Shika. With this card, when placed on rear, choose a card with Stealth and its card name from your drop, and you may put it into the soul. And on rear, when your other unit is placed on rear from the bind zone, if you have a Vanguard with Shojodoji and its card name, put this unit into the soul and draw a card. More draw power for that setup of just what you're meant to do with the deck to begin with. So having the option of just being able to put more from your drop zone using your Kagechika, and then also the additional draw power when it's placed from rear from the bind zone, you'll have the draw along with the additional unit you called out thanks to Shojodoji. With the last of the grade 1s being the 4 copies of the Sentinel Twin Buckler Dragon. If you wanted to run Elementary Sanctity, you can just drop 1 copy of the Sentinel for the additional spot for that Blitz order. And for our trigger lineup, my friend Nick definitely went with the more aesthetically pleasing lineup, but he is also the rainbow lineup for the triggers. So the 4 copies of Stealth Dragon Madowazu, having Stealth in his name as just an added option for the units with Stealth. Now, some of them do require a normal unit, but still being able to then have the option for your rear guards with the Stealth bind, depending on what we may have using these triggers. And then also the 4 copies of Stealth Dragon Midaragumo for the draw trigger, the 3 copies of Stealth Dragon Yamita Guri for the front, and the 4 copies of Stealth Dragon Shikitan for the heal trigger, with our over trigger not being a stealth, sadly, but the Dragon Deity of Resurgence, Drag Veda, for the restand power of our Vanguard as well. With if you have the restand option, you have more attacks to then utilize, since the attack for your Shojodoji ability is not once per turn either. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Definitely an awesome deck. And once again, big thanks to my buddy Nick for letting me borrow the deck for the update from the Clash of the Heroes booster set up to set 12. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.